What if I told you that you were part demon, and now you are the sole heir to one of the three kings, which means you're responsible for keeping the balance, checks and balances, so to speak, of the demon realm? Would you engage in the politics, do your research, figure out how we're going to maintain order? Would you B, use overwhelming force to take control? Would you C, disassociate? Like, oh, it's not really my problem for real. I'm gonna have demon, you know what I'm saying? Or would you D, just do? Well, that's the story of Yusuke Urameshi. He is someone who just does. As you can see from the title of this video, Yusuke's power kind of comes from his ignorance. Like, even to the fact, like, he's a delinquent and whatnot, there's like a control and kind of, it sounds weird with Yusuke's character, but there's a certain amount of emotional intelligence that Yusuke kind of prioritizes over intellectual intelligence. And even then, earlier in the story, he's ignorant to that fact that he has that kind of unnatural emotional intelligence. He's more aware of others than he is of himself. Him dying in general came from him saving a child, a little boy. And this is Urameshi the demon. Urameshi been in over 100 fights with Kurama. This is, you know what I'm saying? And someone who was able to truly see who he was early on was Keiko. But Yusuke himself, he didn't know who he was. And he has the true makings of what it means to be a hero. And his power really comes from not necessarily ignorance in the sense of like stupidity, but ignorance in the sense of limits and things of that nature. He doesn't think about those things. He just does. He's an instinct-based fighter. He has great battle IQ, but he ignores traditional power metrics. He doesn't do research. He does. He exists. He's in the moment. You even see that when he and Kurama fight the demon pretending to be a woman. Yusuke don't care. I gotta get down to business. You know what I'm saying? What he said? Man, woman, or child. You know what I'm saying? I'll tune your ass up. Even when it came to Koenma Junior, aka he had the junior on his head. Koenma, demon, not Demon King. His father's Demon King, not Demon King. Oh my goodness, I don't know what they're called. I haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho in a minute. But even Koenma, he's threatened to beat on Koenma. Like, he doesn't respect traditional power hierarchies, and that level of ignorance kind of grounds him to humanity, and it shows you the power of emotion. When he first becomes a spirit, he doesn't want to do anything. Genkai's like, oh, we can do da-da-da-da-da. He's like, no, my time's passed, you know what I'm saying? I only do that type of awareness in the fact that he didn't do anything. But he was like ignorant to the fact that he still had connections to people. His mother, who he thought didn't really care for him, cried for him. Kuwabara, you're supposed to be here for me. Like, that means something to me. And when he realizes that, he sees that there's responsibility that he has to take. And he does that, he fulfills that mantle by becoming a spirit detective. He hunts demons. He trains with Genkai, right? And Kuwabara has a natural high, spiritual attunement. So, he's technically more cut out to be a spirit detective. In terms of early on stats, Kuwabara's build is if a human had to be a spirit detective, you want someone with that natural, energy control. Yusuke doesn't have that. He has a lot of power, and his spirit is a lot of, gumption and, you know what I'm saying? Robustness to, who he is. He's a lot of grit. You feel me? But when he's training with Genkai, something she points out to him is that he half-asses almost everything he does. She tells him word for word, stop, trying to give up. And, he's doing the thing. He's, complaining, yeah, but he's doing the thing. But she's able to peer through with her wisdom and see something that he couldn't see. This ignorance is his power, but it's also his weakness. That's what makes the story compelling. It's the ebb and flow of the tide. It's that ignorance is where he can slip up, but that ignorance allows him to make decisions that others wouldn't make. When he stood on 10 toes fighting Shu, they could put a knife behind his foot. But that's one of the most manly displays in anime. knife to foot, and they just they just letting him. They're bad. They just letting them Jones fly. You feel me? Like that level. And again, Yusuke was hitting on. He said, "Man, woman, or baby," like blah blah blah. So that would hint at like he doesn't have honor, but like he does. He boxed that man's shoe like those. He has honor, bro. He is like the type of guy that is like earnest. He does everything with everything he has. It's like when he was introduced to the, what are they called, the black tapes, and the inhumanity of like humans, he's still able to see that there's humanity in everyone, like in everything. He doesn't treat demons differently. Like he's been friends with Hiei and your Karamas, right? Everyone has a piece of like humanity. Is called humanity because the people who discovered it are humans, or at least we are firstly aware of ourselves. So if we were going to give a trait to something that makes us us, it would be humanity, the trait of being human. Now when we get into these manga and these fantasy worlds, like human is like base stats, so everybody's human, right? It's a weakness, but that emotion that comes with humanity, and it comes with like any race, like everyone can feel emotion, but we call it humanity because we like to break the fourth wall. We're making the thing. So to create it, we're imbuing our humanity into these characters. We're giving them emotions. We can create characters without emotion, but then they become stale, not even worth interacting with. Like one of my favorite scenes in Yu Yu Hakusho is when the guys figure out Genkai passes. In the tournament, John, like these shadow over the face on some Luffy. Commentator, oh, how you guys feeling? I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna tear them to strut. Like that's that emotion that comes from like this ignorance or this lack of restraint, this freedom, and being who he is without caring the world. That is Yusuke's character arc, bro. Even down to when he confronts Raijin, when he first gets his demon heritage against Sensui, he isn't like, oh, but I'm human. Like he doesn't have that blurred line where like he sees himself as the group he identifies with. He just sees himself as himself. He is Yusuke Urameshi. You know what I'm saying? He is Yusuke Urameshi. He doesn't overanalyze his techniques. He does. When he grows, it's from instinct. Genkai telling him, stop holding back. It's like he has this subconscious limiter in his head because of the pressure that kind of society puts on him. Like, oh, you're delinquent, you don't really do nothing. But a lot of times when he wins and he outsmarts people, it's not like, it's street smarts. It's not, oh, I've been playing this for 5 million years. Instead, it's like he learned something. He had a tie to someone and they taught him something. And it's kind of ignorance, this non-conformist mindset. This ignorance protects him from like paralysis. He just does. Like he doesn't freeze up. And he can freeze up when like, you know, heinous things are happening. That's the humanity of Yusuke. But when it comes to his power, he doesn't refine it. He doesn't do all his training like Hiei does. He doesn't have the fluidity of a whip like Kurama. He's not even blunt like Kuwabara. Yusuke's power is just honesty. That's like but when he realized he was a demon, it's like, oh, I'm still Mita. But like, oh, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's cool. You feel me? That's Yusuke. He doesn't have that identity paralysis. His ignorance of like who he is, or his ability to like toss aside who people claim he is and just do, is what allows him to keep evolving. Like he's kind of like, not the same thing, but similar to how like Yuji claims he's like a cog in a machine. That is Yusuke Urameshi. He is there, he exists, but he's not tied down to anything. Like that's why the cog is not the best analogy, because he's not isolated, because he's true to himself. That allows him to bond with people, but it also allowed him to push Keiko away. He didn't realize what he was taking for granted. And in that like finale of the show, He realizes that. He finds out who he truly like. That ignorance, that veil kind of fades in terms of not knowing who you are, and the ignorance takes place more. And the other thing that we see from him, which is like this lack of constraint, this lack of holding back emotionally. I have to keep image up. This lack of, oh, I have to understand my powers down to the atom so I can refine them. That never affects Yusuke. He doesn't buy into that. It's impossible. It can't be done. That's not how it's done. He doesn't follow the traditional format. He wins because he doesn't know when he's supposed to quit. He doesn't know when he's supposed to lose. He's coming with grit. Yusuke is a dog. Y'all don't understand. Yusuke is a dog, and that kind of ignorance takes away like a limiter from him. He doesn't hesitate. He's in that field. He's on time, bro. Even when it's like the Goro, supposed to be a demon, just like Sensui, Spirit Detective before you. He did He's like that. Just on my face. Get in my face. You feel me? That's Yusuke. He's not like Goku. He's not obsessed with form. He's not obsessed with, oh, I had to fully dive deep into myself. I had to focus on mastery. Take this grade 4 of Super Saiyan. Like, you feel me? He doesn't do that. He doesn't resist the changes around him. He goes with the flow because he doesn't fully define himself. He doesn't claim an identity and like feels the constraints of having to stick to it. Like if you give him like a trolley type decision, he's faced with an impossible decision. It becomes very possible because I'm not thinking about who I am when I'm making this decision. I'm showing who I am in each step that I take. You know what I'm saying? If you know yourself intimately, knowing that you evolve and change over time, what you know is a version of you that you once understood, but you constantly change, grow, and develop, or at least you should. And when you know yourself too strictly, not just, oh, I'm like this, but like I am this, you limit your growth. You stuff yourself in a container. You feel me? While Yusuke never stops growing. He never forgets who he is because he is who he is. What he said, I think, therefore I am. And he don't even be thinking for real. You know what I'm saying? That's Yusuke, bro. And that is the power of ignorance. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check the description down below for Discord link, all my socials link. And yeah, man. We're just gonna drop hella more of these breakdown? I'm about to say breakthrough. Breakdown type videos, rant style videos. And yeah, man, as always, it's time to see me next. Peace.